General Hospital will reveal Sonny had been quietly watching Ava and Rick's every move in recent weeks. His simmering anger growing steadily as the dark and twisted nature of their schemes slowly unraveled before him. The revelation of their sinister plot to blackmail Alexis. Exploiting the sacred bond of motherhood and Alexis's deep fear of the consequences stemming from Christina's deliberate sabotage of Rick's car brakes. Struck a nerve that Sonny could not ignore or forgive. Once Sonny learned that Ava was using Alexis as a pawn to cover up Christina's dangerous crime, and that Rick was complicit and eager in this ruthless deception, he hardened his resolve. He swore to mete out a cold, calculated vengeance against both of them, determined to dismantle their machinations with unyielding severity. Whispers and rumors circulating throughout Port Charles revealed that both Alexis and Lucky were privy to the truth about Christina's sabotage. Their knowledge, although perhaps unintended, became the key that unlocked Sonny's awareness of the conspiracy. Motivated by his long-standing loyalty to Elizabeth, Lucky confided in Dante Falconeri, trusting him implicitly. Meanwhile, Alexis sought counsel with Damian Spinelli, a man whose allegiance to Sonny was unwavering. Through these secretive channels, the dam broke, and the truth began to reach Sonny's ears. Upon hearing that Ava had transformed Alexis into a mere pawn in her extortion scheme, all to bury Christina's guilt, with Rick acting as a zealous partner in crime, Sonny's fury ignited fiercely. The discovery that someone so close was being manipulated enraged him beyond measure. The question now loomed, did this revelation come from a trusted ally, a reliable friend who sought justice? Or would Ava's mocking cruelty push Alexis to her breaking point, leaving her isolated and vulnerable? Overwhelmed with rage at the shamelessness and betrayal of Ava and Rick, and driven by an unbreakable desire to protect his daughter Avery, Sonny took decisive action. Recognizing the need for swift and forceful retribution, he entrusted Micheal with the task of exacting justice upon Ava and Christina. This mission was not only a demonstration of Sonny's relentless pursuit of vengeance but also a desperate attempt to shield his family from further harm. With Michael's unwavering loyalty and fierce determination, Sonny ensured that those who threatened his family would face the full weight of retribution. Fueled by an all-consuming rage that ignited deep within his soul, Sonny's mission evolved into something far more complex and ruthless than merely regaining custody of Avery. The weight of years filled with bitter rivalry and betrayal against Rick, his estranged half-brother whose cunning and treachery had long haunted Sonny, transformed his resolve into a relentless crusade to obliterate Rick's standing both personally and professionally. Sonny understood that Rick's influence stretched beyond mere family ties. He had skillfully woven a network of manipulation, deception, and power plays that threatened to destabilize not only their family but the broader circles of power within Port Charles. Determined to strike at the very heart of this web, Sonny launched a secretive and calculated campaign designed to uncover and expose every murky deal, every underhanded alliance, every hidden motive that Rick and Ava had engineered behind closed doors. Sonny knew that Ava's elegant art gallery was little more than a veneer masking a lucrative and illicit empire sustained by extortion and blackmail, the very funds that allowed her to maintain a facade of legitimacy and, more importantly, to wield control over Avery's custody. Without a shred of hesitation, Sonny aimed directly at this financial foundation, devising strategies to systematically dismantle her economic stronghold. This would not only cripple Ava's ability to fund her legal battles but also strip away her influence and threaten to force her into a corner from which escape seemed impossible. The mounting pressure bore down on Ava with relentless force. Once composed and calculating, she began to unravel under the weight of Sonny's assault. Her panic morphed into a frantic attempt to deflect blame, as she boldly cast Rick as the puppet master, the true villain orchestrating their shared schemes from behind the scenes. This calculated move was more than a desperate act of self-preservation, it was a tactical gambit meant to fracture Sonny's focus and sow seeds of doubt. For Sonny, however, this shift only intensified his suspicion that Rick was far more culpable than even he had imagined. The idea that Rick might have been manipulating Ava all along, using her as a mere pawn to shield himself, provoked a deeper and more burning fury. Sunny's wrath grew from a simmering flame into a blazing inferno, one that refused to be quenched by reason or restraint. His determination hardened into an unyielding vow: neither Rick nor Ava would be allowed to continue their deceitful reign in the shadows. Free to undermine the family he cherished and the life he fought to protect. This was no longer just a battle for custody or justice, it was a reckoning. Sunny was prepared to exhaust every resource, face every danger, and endure every consequence to ensure that the traitors who had betrayed him and his loved ones would face the full force of his vengeance. The storm he was unleashing promised to upend lives and expose secrets long buried, signaling a war that would leave no one untouched and no stone unturned in the pursuit of retribution and redemption. Those closest to Sunny, most notably Alexis and Lucky, were among the first to notice the striking and profound transformation in his demeanor and spirit. Where once there had been the visible anguish of a father and husband grappling with betrayal and loss, there now stood a man whose cold, unwavering resolve radiated through every calculated move and measured word. This was not a fleeting mood born from momentary pain, but the emergence of a steely, battle-hardened leader, a man fully aware that the stakes had never been higher and that protecting his family demanded an unrelenting willingness to confront danger head-on and to pay any price necessary. His determination transcended mere emotion, it became a deliberate force driving every action he took, signaling to all that Sunny Corinthos was no longer a man to be crossed or underestimated. Behind the scenes, Sunny quietly but purposefully forged an alliance with some of his most trusted and loyal confidants, including Dante Falconeri and Damian Spinelli, men whose steadfast dedication and sharp intellects made them invaluable assets in this escalating conflict. Their unwavering support was not only a source of strength but also a vital element in the painstaking strategy Sunny began to weave. Together, they delved deep into the shadows, uncovering hidden connections, dissecting secret transactions, and exposing the tangled web of manipulation spun by Ava and Rick. The plan was comprehensive and ruthless. To strip Ava of her legal foothold by systematically undermining her claims to custody, while simultaneously targeting Rick's professional reputation. Seeking to dismantle the career he had painstakingly built as a respected attorney. Sunny understood that dismantling Rick's influence required more than public scandal. It demanded concrete evidence, documents, testimonies, and proof that could withstand the scrutiny of the law and pierce the carefully constructed facades. With Dante and Spinelli's help, Sunny orchestrated an investigation that sifted through financial records, communications, and legal maneuvers, hunting for any discrepancies or illegal activities that would not only discredit Rick in the court of public opinion but could also lead to formal charges. This was a war fought on multiple fronts, personal, legal, and psychological, with every move carefully calibrated to weaken the enemy's position. This transformation in Sunny was visible even to those outside his immediate circle. His interactions became sharper, his decisions more decisive, and his presence commanding in ways that spoke of a man who had embraced his role not only as protector but as an avenger. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily upon him. Yet he bore it with a fierce grace, channeling his pain into focused action. No longer was he simply reacting to the betrayals around him. He was initiating a counteroffensive designed to uproot the corruption threatening everything he valued. The unfolding plan was not without risk. Sunny was fully aware that such a bold campaign could provoke dangerous retaliation, endangering not just himself but the very family he sought to protect. Yet, driven by a profound sense of justice and paternal devotion, he pressed forward, prepared to face whatever consequences arose. To Sunny, this was not merely a battle for custody or reputation, it was a fight to reclaim the integrity and safety of his family's future. As the pieces fell into place and the pressure mounted on Ava and Rick, those who watched recognized that Sunny had become a force of nature, a man reshaped by pain and betrayal into an unyielding guardian ready to wage war in the name of love and justice. Sunny found himself standing at a critical crossroads, fully aware that the path ahead would require him to embrace measures far more drastic and unyielding than ever before. Despite the very real and tangible dangers that loomed over his health, still fragile and healing from a recent life-altering heart surgery, Sonny's spirit burned fiercely with a resolve that no physical weakness could diminish. The shadow of his vulnerability served not as a deterrent but as a catalyst, intensifying his determination to dismantle the corrupt and dangerous alliance forged between Ava and Rick. Each step he took was measured and deliberate. A carefully orchestrated maneuver in a high-stakes chess game where every piece revealed a new facet of their treachery. With unerring patience and keen strategic insight, Sonny began to methodically uncover the tangled web of lies, deceit, and manipulation that Ava and Rick had spun around themselves. Like a master tactician peeling away the layers of an onion, he exposed the fragile underpinnings of their empire. The cracks in their foundation grew wider and more pronounced with every secret unveiled. And the confidence that once buoyed Ava and Rick began to erode, replaced by confusion, paranoia, and desperation. The power they so confidently wielded started slipping through their fingers, and their carefully constructed facades began to falter. For Ava, the tightening grip of Sonny's assault was a storm that quickly spiraled beyond her control. Panic seized her as she frantically grasped at the fragments of her crumbling dominion. Every scheme she had relied upon, the manipulations, the blackmail, the silencing of inconvenient truths, started unraveling at an alarming pace. The fortress she had built on deceit and calculated cruelty was no match for the relentless force of Sonny's pursuit. One by one, the layers of concealment fell away, leaving her exposed to the harsh light of scrutiny and judgment. The illusions of power and control shattered like fragile glass. And with each broken shard, Ava's desperation deepened. Meanwhile, Rick felt the tremors of this shifting battle as well, his usual composure giving way to unease. The intricate web of legal and personal defenses he had woven was being methodically dismantled, and the threat of complete ruin hung heavy in the air. The stakes were higher than ever, and the consequences more severe. Throughout this fierce and unforgiving confrontation, Sonny's resolve remained ironclad. His actions were not driven by reckless vengeance, but by a profound sense of justice and an unwavering commitment to protect his family and restore order. He knew that the cost might be great, that the risks to his health and future were real and pressing, yet he pressed forward with unrelenting courage. Each revelation, each step closer to truth, was a victory that brought him nearer to dismantling the darkness that threatened to consume those he loved. In the end, Sonny's relentless campaign against Ava and Rick was more than just a fight for custody or retribution, it was a battle for redemption, for the survival of his family's legacy, and for the restoration of honor amid a maelstrom of betrayal. The storm he had unleashed promised to upend lives and reshape destinies, leaving no corner untouched and no deception unexposed. And through it all, Sonny stood resolute, an indomitable force forged in the crucible of pain, love, and unyielding determination. The intricate and volatile saga involving Sonny, Ava, and Rick is far more than a simple tale of revenge. It is a profound and unsettling revelation of the darkest shadows lurking within the tangled web of family ties, power struggles, and unchecked ambition. This story delves deep into the corrosive undercurrents of betrayal that have silently eroded the foundations of trust, loyalty, and love, forces that once bound these individuals together but have since become twisted into weapons of manipulation and destruction. At its heart, this conflict is a raw exploration of how greed and the thirst for control can corrupt even the most sacred relationships, turning kin into adversaries and allies into enemies. The downfall of Ava is not just the collapse of one woman's carefully crafted illusion of control, it represents the potential dismantling of an entire shadow empire built on extortion, intimidation, and deceit, a vast network of power that Rick has been quietly nurturing over the years. His clandestine operations, hidden behind a veneer of legitimacy and legal expertise, now teeter precariously on the brink of exposure. Sonny's unyielding pursuit threatens to pull back the curtain on Rick's machinations, risking the destruction of everything Rick has meticulously constructed, and in doing so, destabilizing the fragile balance of power that has governed their lives. Sunny's response to this betrayal is fueled not only by a burning desire for justice but by a profound and personal commitment to protect his family at all costs. His resolve is a potent mixture of steely determination and deep-seated fury, a force of nature that refuses to be deterred by threats or setbacks. For Sunny, this is not merely a battle for custody or revenge, it is a relentless crusade to reclaim his family's honor, to sever the toxic ties that have bound them to pain and deceit, and to ensure that those responsible are held accountable in a way that leaves no room for redemption or escape. As this conflict escalates, the stakes grow ever higher, and the lines between right and wrong blur under the weight of desperation and survival. The war Sunny wages against Ava and Rick is poised to unleash a brutal and unforgiving storm, one that will leave no soul untouched. Friendships will fracture, alliances will be tested, and the very fabric of their intertwined lives will be reshaped by the relentless tides of betrayal and retribution. The consequences of this struggle will reverberate far beyond the immediate players, altering destinies and rewriting histories in ways that none could have predicted. In the crucible of this merciless conflict, the characters are forced to confront their deepest fears, their darkest impulses, and the true cost of their ambitions. It is a saga of shattered trust and fierce loyalty, of love turned to bitterness and betrayal transformed into a catalyst for change. Ultimately, this tale is a testament to the devastating power of deceit and the extraordinary strength required to fight back, to rise from the ashes of betrayal and reclaim what was lost. The story of Sunny, Ava, and Rick is not simply a chronicle of vengeance, it is an epic narrative about the enduring human spirit, the price of power, and the unbreakable bonds of family forged in the fires of adversity.